The old bosses had to go. Luciano held a secret meeting with Maranzano to plan the elimination of Joe the Boss Masseria. The plan was set. Lucky invited the boss for a lavish lobster brunch, a card game, and a conference on April 15th, 1931 at one of Masseria's favorite restaurants on Coney Island, Nuovo Villa Tomato, where he would feel safe. What would happen next is a textbook mafia-style killing, immortalized in the first Godfather movie when Marco Corleone kills Sollozzo. The real-life events, however, unfolded a bit differently than as portrayed here, with Luciano excusing himself to go to the bathroom while 4 of his gunmen came in and shot Joe the Boss dead while he was seated at his table. He died with the Ace of Spades, the death card, still in his hands. What a mess. But the first part was complete. With Masseria eliminated, Luciano focused his sight on eliminating Maranzano and reorganizing operations in New York. Lucky also got word Maranzano was going to have him killed, having already planned for a brutal machine gun assassination of Luciano by the Irish gangster Vincent Mad Dog Cole. So Lucky struck first. He was tipped off that Maranzano was having some financial trouble with the IRS and was expecting to be audited. He also knew Maranzano had instructed his bodyguards to be unarmed when at his office in case the IRS showed up. He did not want any arrests for gun violations. For our next stop, we're going to take a quick ride up to Midtown Manhattan from the East Village to Park Avenue and 46th Street. This building marks a pivotal turning point in the history of the New York Mafia.
Lucky's timing was perfect. He had to act quickly to catch Maranzano off guard. So, a team of hitmen was assembled, disguised as IRS agents, said to have consisted of Joe Adonis, Albert Anastasia, Vito Genovese, and possibly Bugsy Siegel. They stormed Maranzano's office on the 9th floor of the Helmsley building, overlooking Grand Central Terminal here at 230 Park Avenue on September 10th, 1931. And what happens next is not very pretty.
Maranzano, his bodyguards and secretary were lined up at gunpoint with their faces pressed to the wall. Maranzano was then brought into another room where he was then pinned to the wall, where they proceeded to stab him 4 times in the chest, stomach, and face, slicing his mouth, and then strangling him. They finally finished off the boss of bosses by firing 6 bullets into him at close range. With Joe Masseria and Salvatore Maranzano dead, and the Castellammare War over, a new age in the Italian-American Mafia had begun. Luciano held a conclave with the heads of 4 other substantial borgatas in New York, who were all agreeable to Lucky's plans, and began restructuring the Italian Mafia in New York City. The other bosses were Gaetano Galliano, Vincent Mangano, Joe Bonanno, and Joe Profaci. Out of this meeting in 1931, the 5 families of New York that still exist today had been set. Luciano's borgata eventually became the Genovese family, named after Vito Genovese. Gaetano Galliano's borgata became the Lucchese family, named after Tommy Three-Finger Lucchese. Vincent Mangano's family evolved into the Gambino family, named after Carlo Gambino. Joe Bonanno's borgata remained the Bonanno family, and Joe Profaci's family became the Colombo family, named for Joe Colombo. Luciano also set up what became known as the Commission, the equivalent of a national board of directors that would establish general policies and regulations that all the mafia families in the country would adhere to. The Commission would be the vital link between the families throughout the country, ensuring cooperation and harmony. It was basically a Supreme Court for the underworld. From 230 Park Avenue, it's just a few blocks up to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel at Park Avenue and 50th Street. Having done what he set out to do, Luciano was looking to upgrade his lifestyle a bit and moved into an apartment at the luxurious Waldorf Towers, an apartment hotel located within the venerable Waldorf Astoria Hotel on Park Avenue. According to the book, The Last Testament of Lucky Luciano, Lucky was quoted as saying, "I figured if everybody was going to call me the boss, I was entitled to live in an apartment that was above Frank's. The Towers was the best class address in New York. He, of course, was referring to Frank Costello, who we'll get to a little later, and his luxury apartment at the Majestic on Central Park West on the Upper West Side. Lucky wanted an apartment that displayed a higher degree of status. The gangster could count on secrecy in his new place, where he entertained mobsters, politicians, and entertainers alike, including no small number of showgirls. His criminal conspirators could then sneak out of his apartment and disappear into the city through the hotel's packed parking arcade, which allowed the gangster to park his car and ride a private elevator to his room. Lucky would be joining a group of wealthy and famous residents who would at some point live at the Waldorf Towers, including Marilyn Monroe, the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, General Douglas MacArthur, and Frank Sinatra. He rented apartment 39C as Mr. Charles Ross and paid his $600 a month rent in $100 bills. Privacy and personalized service were exactly what Luciano wanted and expected at the Waldorf, and that's exactly what he received. Lucky placed the desk clerk on his payroll, greasing him with $200 a month. The bribes eventually paid off when, in March of 1936, detectives from the DA's office stormed the lobby looking for the gangster. The clerk tipped off Luciano, and he hopped into his private elevator and took off in his car to survive another day. Next week, we head back downtown to the East Village, where, just 2 short blocks from where Lucky Luciano grew up in the East Village, is a storied restaurant immortalized in both Boardwalk Empire and The Sopranos, John's of 12th Street.